Hello and welcome to the first of what may be many collective pick-a-card readings on this channel. I'm Megan, the creator of Auraborrows. If you haven't heard of us already, feel free to check out our website, auraborrows.com, if you're interested in finding fashions that fit your aesthetics and help you express your inner self. We also have a newsletter that you can sign up for if you're interested in receiving monthly affirmations, guides to setting intentions, self-help tips, prompts to shadow work, and more. So you can sign up for that on the website as well, and feel free to follow us on Instagram at auraborrows. I'll put all the links in the description below, and yeah, let's get started. So today I'm going to be reading from 3 different tarot decks. I'll show them on screen. This one's actually an oracle deck, but it's all astrological signs, which is really cool, and the cards are absolutely gorgeous. You'll see once we start the reading. We also have these are my go-to, and it's the Book of the Dead tarot. Again, really beautiful artwork. So if you're on the market for a tarot deck, perhaps one of these. I also have a pocket tarot deck, and it's, might pronounce this wrong, Klimt Tarot. I will show that. I don't know if it'll focus, but basically it's the artwork on each of the cards. So I also do personalized readings, so if you have a more direct or private question that you wanted to ask and have a less generalized reading, then feel free to look on the services tab of my website and book a reading. And yeah, if you're unfamiliar with the pick-a-card reading style, basically I have different piles set up that you get to pick whichever resonates. In terms of what resonates, you might not necessarily know what that means, but basically listen to your intuition, listen to the responses of your body as you look at each pile of cards. I will be setting a crystal on each of the piles of cards because some people have more of an attraction to a specific crystal. I find that our bodies tend to crave things, like our bodies crave food, the foods that we need in terms of like the vitamins or minerals and stuff that our bodies need at that moment. So you might be like craving things with protein and stuff. People being drawn to certain stones, certain crystals and stuff kind of has the same effect. You gravitate towards the thing that your body feels that you need balance in. So listening to your body as you look at each of the piles and figuring out what pile makes your heart drop or what crystal kind of makes you get goosebumps all over. Something like that. It might be different for each person, but if you have any practice with your intuition, you'll know what works for you. Choose that deck, and then I'll also put in the description below the time codes for each of the readings, so you don't have to sit and listen to every reading. If it doesn't apply or if it doesn't resonate with you, you can skip to whichever one of the 4 piles and just listen to that reading. It'll save you time in the long run. If you want to listen to all of them, feel free. There might be something that resonates in others. And if there's more than one pile that resonates with you, feel free to listen to it. Without further ado, let's begin. So here are the different card piles, each with a crystal on top. I will go through and name the different crystals so that you have a better idea of what pile you'll be picking. Throughout this time, feel free to look at each card deck individually and see which one really calls to you. Starting from the left and going towards the right, the first pile is the green stone. That stone is Malachite. The second pile has a piece of Shungite on it. The third pile has Tiger's Eye, and the fourth pile has Amethyst. So I'll give you a moment to go over the decks and choose which pile you feel resonates the most deeply with you. Feel free to pick more than one pile if there's a couple that call to you. If you want to skip ahead to your reading, feel free to look at the description below. I've listed the stones with the different times. All right, my group ones. If you were drawn to the Malachite pile, this is your reading. Firstly, it's important to note that malachite represents balance, manifestation, abundance, and intention. It's often seen as the stone of transformation, so perhaps you're focusing on manifesting a big change in your life, or maybe just within yourself. So to start off, I have five tarot cards from the Book of the Dead tarot deck for you. The King of Wands reversed appears first, which, if we're to understand it in terms of the stone pairing, I can see it representing the pressure that you're putting on yourself right now. You have a desire to get better at something or move on to the next step of your life when you might not be entirely ready. And I think you intuitively know that you're not ready, but you're pushing yourself a lot more. And probably criticizing yourself for not getting to that point faster. So that paired with the second card, which is the Empress, also reversed, shows that you may be dependent on something or someone right now, and that might be a block for you. The Empress is a feminine card, so it may represent someone in your life with female energy, not necessarily a woman in your life, though it could be. And this person may make you feel a bit smothered, and because of this overbearing nature that's put onto you externally, you may feel kind of empty within yourself. I do, however, see that with the Devil card, there is abundance for you. Maybe you already feel that abundance in terms of materialism, or it may come to you shortly. But you should be wary that this can turn into excess. There is, however, a positive nature to this card. The Devil can also represent a certain playfulness when it comes to what you have or can attain. So maybe you've gotten some new items lately in online shopping hauls, or you've got your baskets full, or just something along those lines. Like you've been treating yourself. Just be wary not to go overboard with that. It's good in moderation. But yeah, the Eight of Wands, also reversed, does indicate some obstacles. It also indicates a need for patience and the encouragement to slow down. You have good things coming to you naturally, but if you push forward with the I need this right now kind of energy, you'll only get pushed back. Basically what I'm getting is that you just need to relax, surrender a little bit, and know that there are really great things that are coming your way. There's, like the Malachite indicated, a transformation for you. The One of Wands is a really great card to pull all this together and give you some insight on how to move forward. You have the ability to create and bring in exactly what you desire, but you have to be willing to go through the slow and steady steps to attain that success. It does take some work on your part, but through this slower, more scenic route to what you want, you will be so incredibly inspired. So, turning our attention to look at the Oracle cards, I'm seeing a lot of confirmations when it comes to that sense of urgency, that need to get to your next milestone. Mercury is the fastest planet in our solar system, so the Mercurius card indicates your desire to move forward faster than those around you. Although you have the willpower to do so, you'll miss out on important information that will help you so much in the next stage of your life. So do not rush through this journey. The Libra card reminds us that there's so much beauty in the world and within us, but it also reminds us how important balance is, and I'm seeing that especially for you right now. The third card that I pulled is Soul. I think it's really interesting that I pulled this as your final card, because it shows that at the end there's such a warmth to you and strength, and of course the desire to grow. Soul is also an indicator of your purpose, and I think it's important to note its placement as the last card. So you need to know the steps of the process that is going to bring you to that point where you understand your purpose, your higher purpose. So just to summarize, you'll need to go through the process of bringing yourself out of that forced rush, restoring the balance to the parts of your life you may have neglected or perhaps have depended on others to take care of before. And then you'll be able to get to the stage of your life where your purpose is revealed to you. With the combination of Mercurius and Libra, it's also important that you listen to those around you and consider the thoughts and ideas of others, because they want to help guide you and they have important things for you to learn along your own journey. Lastly, I just want to say that with these combinations, there is a really big reminder to trust your intuition. So moving on to the final 3 cards for group 1, you got the Ace of Chalices, the Stars reversed, and the 6 of Pentacles. I really love this trio for you in this spread. Wow. The Ace of Chalices is a representative of new love. This might come in the form of a new person that'll come into your life, or perhaps strengthening an existing bond with someone who will become an even more important figure in your life. But it also might be discovering a new love in terms of hobbies or creative endeavors. I see a lot of harmony with this card. You'll be at a point of seeing the cup full rather than half of anything because of the abundance you'll recognize within and around you at that point. The Stars reversed does indicate feelings of melancholy or nostalgia, but I'm understanding this as more of a warning or an enhancement of what the past cards in this reading have told us about rushing and missing key information. Rushing will only do you a disservice in the long run, because you will eventually look back at the lessons that you could have learned early instead of facing the obstacles later and feeling stuck again and again. Remember, it is one thing to be assertive and firm with your desires and goals, and another thing to try and force them. It could be the path to burnout, which may lead you to eventually withdraw if you choose to keep pushing yourself like that. Lastly, and what a great card to end on, honestly, the 6 of Pentacles shows generosity from those around you as you're embarking on this journey towards your more transformed self. As mentioned before, there are so many possibilities for learning. And remember that Mercury, or the Mercurius card that we pulled earlier, is the messenger of the gods, meaning you will get so many insights from those in your life that are only going to strengthen your personal transformation, as long as you actually take the time to listen and consider those lessons and ideas. Ultimately, I see this journey not only bringing you extreme abundance, but a glowing confidence within yourself. So take time to learn what you can from the wisdom of others and enjoy the scenic route. Group 1, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Hello, my Group 2s. If you chose the Shungite pile, this reading is for you. First, I'd like to point out that Shungite is known for reducing stress, easing physical ailments, and shielding you from EMF or electromagnetic field emissions. So maybe you've been feeling really stressed lately and it's been showing up in your body through soreness or headaches. You may also be using your phone or other electronics too much lately, so keep that in mind as we go through the reading today. For the Book of the Dead tarot deck, I have 5 cards for you, and I just want to remind you to take a deep breath, inhale, and exhale to relieve some stress, unclench your teeth, relax your shoulders. I'm really seeing a lot of tension yeah, I'm seeing a lot of tension in you lately with these cards, and I just want us to break it down together. Firstly, I have the Page of Wands reversed, which tells me that you've been feeling really low lately, which might make sense. The weather's getting colder, so, you know, seasonal affective disorders are jumping out. Not necessarily saying that's what it is. Maybe there's something going on in your life, but either way, I'm feeling the energy is really low lately. There's a lot of negative thoughts in your head, and it may feel like you just can't escape this cycle of negativity. Yeah, I can feel through the cards that you're absolutely exhausted, maybe facing issues with a lack of motivation, like I said, depression, maybe anxiety right now. The King of Swords card in reverse seconds this as well. There's an indication of a team up of internal and external criticisms right now. The King of Swords reversed indicates manipulation, cruelty, as well as the criticism that I mentioned earlier. So this paired with the Shungite leads me to believe that maybe you've been consuming a lot of media, perhaps social media, that has been damaging you or your self-image. I'm seeing a lot of comparisons being made and negative or cruel thoughts about yourself. So this criticism is, it's not good for you. It's really damaging. But look, I just want to say, and I want you to really listen when I say this, once you put the right things in place, this next card, the 10 of Cups, tells me that there's such a beautiful sense of happiness and fulfillment. Like, I'm kind of getting emotional about it because I just have this feeling like I can breathe and release something I've been holding inside for so long. So I really want that for you, and I see this as such a moment of incredible celebration for your own strength, or of your own strength rather, and I don't want you to minimize or undervalue or take that for granted. You're incredibly strong, just as you are right now, and the Six of Wands is showing me that as I'm telling you this, you're probably doubting me, but it is so true. When you come through this rough stage, I want you to remember that part of this reading, because I feel like you have a tendency to belittle the moments you break through, and I think your higher self is really encouraging you to recognize that power within yourself. The energy that I'm getting from the 10 of Cups, it is insane. Even when I look at the spread, it calls so much attention to the center because of its vibrancy, and I want you to recognize that it is entirely you. You are that radiant light illuminating the dark cards of the spread. There are just some things right now that are weighing on you, but you have the ability to move past those. Finally, I want to look at the last card in this row because I'm seeing a spike in motivation in terms of your curiosity. I see you piecing things together of what's keeping your vibration really low right now. And with that, there's like this restlessness, and that restlessness is kind of like an encouragement for you to explore that curiosity. But there seems to be there's still a mental block or a mental exhaustion that's an obstacle for you. And I'm not gonna lie, making it through this rough patch, it's going to take some mental energy to break through. But again, at the heart of this row, I see that you have wickedly powerful energy, like divine energy within, that is just recharging right now. Know that it's there, let it recharge, maybe identify some of the external things that are blocking that energy right now, and you're gonna make it through. From the oracle cards I have in this pile, I can see that while you may be burnt out right now, there's a lot of emotions that are really close to the surface that you might be scared to tackle or face right now. So you might be a lot more sensitive to things, and it kind of feels like there's nerves exposed and you're a little bit worried about what might hit them and cause pain. So there is both a fear and a desire to be vulnerable right now, because you know that vulnerability is going to push you forward to like that state of happiness. And I get the sense that maybe you don't want to weigh someone else down, but I can assure you with this spread, it looks like you have a lot of power when it comes to communication. You have the boldness within you to leap into this vulnerable state and communicate your way through it with those around you, but this all relies on a choice you have. There are two routes you can take, as indicated by the Gemini card. Intuitively, you know what these two paths look like. The Aries energy I see here shows a passionate fighter who has a set goal, and the Cancer card emphasizes the nature to put others' needs ahead of your own. But you have to remember that it's important to take care of your needs too. To finish off this reading, we have the 3 cards from the Klimt Tarot deck, which are the Fool reversed, the Queen of Wands, and the Tower reversed. The Fool reversed actually indicates a rebirth moment or a time to let go of something that's no longer serving you. Perhaps you need to release something that's been impacting you negatively. This may be a physical habit or perhaps something more internalized. The Queen of Wands card shows that you have incredible relationships around you. Really intensely positive, loving, and supportive relationships. And you do in fact have someone who is ready to make themselves available, or perhaps they've already demonstrated their loyalty and their openness to provide comfort to you at this time. This person may be a fire sign, because Wands usually represents fire, so an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. Whoever they are, they're charismatic and warm, and they'll understand your circumstance right now and maybe help you to feel an understanding and a compassion for yourself at this time. Right now, with the Tower card reversed, I see that the only hurdle you need to overcome right now is the feelings of despair and pessimism, perhaps the sense of imprisonment to something outside of yourself. But you have the ability, as we saw earlier in the reading, the absolute vibrancy and power to break down those barriers and step out into a strengthened place of vulnerability. Speaking to someone close to you, whoever the Queen of Wands character is going to bring you so much clarity. But you first have to remove the thing in your path that's telling you that you deserve this imprisonment, because you honestly don't. As cheesy as it sounds, you deserve to fly free as the butterfly in the Ten of Cups card. But just know that you have the absolute power and you have people around you who are there to help you through the harder times. So that is your reading, Group 2. I hope it answers some questions and gives you a little bit of insight. Hello, Group 3. If you picked the Tiger's Eye, this reading is for you. Tiger's Eye helps with focusing and decision making because it guides you to further insight on what you're dealing with right now. It also brings good luck and helps to calm the fears you have. So as we go through today's reading, keep that in mind. To start off, let's take a look at the Book of the Dead tarot cards. I have 5 cards for you today, and the first is the Fool card. So when this card is facing right side up, it indicates new beginnings and a free spirit. But it also shows that those embarking on this new beginning may have an air of innocence or be naive about some of the things that they're gonna face over the course of this new journey. The Tower card, which is next, shows me that perhaps because of this naive nature, there's a tendency for pride within you that may cause you to take on way more than you can right now, rushing into things without all the answers, and that can lead to disaster as truth reveals itself later. And at that point, you feel like you're in too deep. So it might become very, very overwhelming for you. The Knight of Pentacles reversed here is a demonstration of the potential extremes when it comes to your new beginning. So the Knight of Pentacles reversed signifies laziness or obsessiveness, both of which usually lead to a dead end for you. It looks as though there is a laziness, maybe provoked by a fear of failure more so, on this journey, in which case the other extreme is obsessing over the fine details, which just makes it more difficult to see the big picture, and it can leave you stressed out and wondering why, despite the effort that you've been putting in, you're not seeing the results that you want. So the Four of Wands backs up this idea. Actually, as there's focus on the larger scale with this card, like things with community and your home take center stage. So turning your focus to those larger scale things will help you. You'll be able to see how they've shaped you and led you to the new level of consciousness for this new beginning. Once you're able to step away from the tiny details, you'll be able to have like this moment of celebration where you can see how everything weaves together and where those weaving patterns are going to take you next. Which leads us to the last card in this row, the Six of Swords, which indicates a transition, leaving the old behind and moving on to bigger and better things. And this is a really good thing for you. I see this as a monumental moment, and quite possibly the thing that initiates the new beginning that I mentioned. So moving on to the Oracle spread, for you I pulled Pisces, Virgo, and Luna. I think these three in combination really emphasize what I was saying earlier, as there's a representation of a loss of focus, which we can attribute to that assumed laziness or procrastination that we had seen in the reversed Knight of Pentacles card. But with the Virgo card here, it also looks like we have that hyperfixation on small details and perhaps a sense of being overly critical about our work right now. When we add the Luna card to each of these signs, we get two main ideas on how to move forward or what to be aware of as we move forward. The first is that you have a lot of psychic energy and intuition that can guide you, but you might need to learn how to use it and follow it a bit better. And you might be able to do that by looking at your community and looking at your home, as mentioned earlier. The other note is that you may become quite exhausted when you pour all your energy into one or two aspects of a larger idea, and you'll become overwhelmed quickly, especially when you finally take a step back and notice that there are more aspects that you need to put time and energy into. And I know you want to put the same amount of energy into every step of the process, but you're intent on pouring, like right now, we'll use a metaphor. You're intent on pouring water into just one cup right now. So like you have the intention of pouring it so it's at the perfect measurement, but you haven't even looked at how many cups that you have to measure out. Use the Virgo energy in this reading for good and plan ahead. Look at the cups that you need to fill and make a plan for how much time and energy to attribute to each part of attaining that goal, dream, or whatever may lead you to that new beginning. Finally, we're going to close off this reading with 3 cards from the Klimt deck. The first card I pulled for you, group 3, is Temperance, which really brings home the point of moderation. That's such a key word for you right now, moderation and pace. You have the ability to analyze, you have access to the knowledge, but if you're too prideful, then it could blindside you, as we saw earlier in the reading. With Temperance, with the Temperance card, though, I can see that it's entirely possible for you to take on this new beginning with a sense of peacefulness. You can let your analytic nature guide you, but don't let it control you. Next, we have the Knave of Wands reversed, which shows some rivalry, perhaps gossip, and sentimental grief. So as we talked about earlier with the Six of Swords card, I do see you leaving some things behind to begin this new part of your life, to start this transition. And with that, there will be a sense of loss because things that you once identified with may not really fit with you anymore. And that's okay. That's part of the process. You're going to find new things. But there also may be people who begin to see your progress as something to compete with, which may bring about that rivalry or gossip. Again, don't let this be something that makes you prideful. And this may become something that you put too much time and energy into, trying to handle the rivalry or gossip. But I can tell you now that putting your energy into that is just going to exhaust you. Lastly, and perhaps this feeds into the sentimental grief from the previous card, but I do see you letting go of something that you did enjoy. The One of Wands card in reverse symbolizes the end of a delight. So there may be something from this part of your life that has served you well and you've enjoyed, but it no longer serves you, or it has nothing more to teach or bring you. While this may feel sad and heavy, there are so many things in this new beginning, this new journey, that will bring you new levels of joy that you wouldn't expect. While we did pull the Four of Wands card earlier, which represented home, so maybe family, with this last card in your spread, I'm also seeing the possibility of overly strong family ties. So with this, remember the emphasis on moderation throughout this reading. You don't need to rely on the thoughts or views of your family when going into this new stage, but be open to the love and support your family can provide as you begin this new journey. I hope this helps bring some clarity to you, Group 3, and have a good one. Hello, my Group 4s. If you picked the Amethyst, this is your reading. The stone Amethyst brings about feelings of tranquility by balancing any mood swings we may be encountering, alleviating stress and negativity, and as a bonus, it helps to amplify our intuition. So those are some key things just to remember as we're going through your reading today. Getting into the Book of the Dead Tarot, I have 5 cards laid out for you here. The first is the Knight of Wands that signifies action and adventure and fearlessness. So I'm sensing that you're someone who loves a challenge or an adventure. Maybe you have big dreams that you want to accomplish or places that you want to go, and you're so incredibly driven towards those goals. Luckily, with the the One of Pentacles, it looks like you have a lot of promising opportunities that allow you to express your adventurous side. Maybe even some work opportunities coming in, because this card represents prosperity as well as new ventures coming your way. So that's really, really exciting for you. But the Seven of Swords is a warning that there may be some things within these opportunities that seem too good to be true, and they probably are. So be wary of deception. Be wary of deception, and if something feels off to you, don't turn a blind eye to it. The Three of Wands reversed breaks this down a little more, because these too good to be true moments that at their core are deceptive, they'll lead you to frustrations and delays. And while this may be an obstacle for you to get through, you have the ability to do the research and get to the bottom of these things because of your fearlessness. So the last card in this row is the Seven of Pentacles reversed. So this card indicates work without results, distractions, and perhaps a lack of rewards. So perhaps as you move forward make sure that you're using your time wisely and resting, as you need to take care of yourself in order to keep moving forward with the same diligence. Also remember that while you may not immediately see external rewards for what you're working on right now, you can reward yourself at different steps of your dream. You can validate yourself as well. So, taking a look at your oracle cards now, you've got Aquarius, Pluto, and Neptunus. With this trio, I am seeing so much imagination and vision within you. You have your goals and you take them on like missions. There's a big focus on the future you're creating for yourself, and while that's fantastic and you can totally attain it, the cards are calling you to be a little more present in the now, because you seem to be a bit detached currently. You may even be going through a moment where you feel out of line with yourself because you're so focused on what your future self is achieving. Because I'll tell you that there is success ahead, but you'll encounter some turbulence along the way. I feel like you probably expect this, but regardless, you're still intent on pushing through fearlessly. You have an innate ability, a gift even, that's going to help you or help someone or the world in general. I know that seems like a lofty claim, but take a moment to look at your skills and understand how they align. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. How they align with your values, because it looks like that is the root of your goals and you fight for what you believe in. So you're going to go hard on this. This does bring us to the Klimt Tarot deck, which presents us with the Chariot reversed. This card demonstrates the potential for your ambitions to be a bit dangerous, which if you're looking to make changes in the world, there are obviously going to be people who disagree with you. There may be some people in your life that don't necessarily support you or maybe have their doubts about you going on this path. But you have proven your power, you've proven your willpower specifically to be strong within the cards that I see above. So I'm not too worried about you. These cards, specifically the World reversed, show some confusion surrounding some of the harder tasks that you'll face within this journey. So make sure that you're keeping yourself grounded in the present reality. This may also be a reminder to be aware of the potential deceit that we saw earlier. So just be careful. Finally, the Four of Swords indicates that you will need to stay healthy by getting lots of sleep. Know that there will be some long waits along this journey, perhaps some sense of isolation, whether that be physical isolation, like I'm sure we've all experienced and know very well in 2020, but also maybe some isolation on your journey as you let go of some people who work against you or don't necessarily believe in what you're doing. While you have so much to give right now, the world may seem kind of lonely and dark sometimes, and this may lead to some more misanthropic moments or thoughts. But you have such a vision and a hope for the future, and you have the imagination and the drive to create it. Just know that it's going to take some time, but you're going to get there. So that wraps up your reading group 4. I hope that this gave you a little bit of insight and encouragement for the future.